All right, we're back. So here we have the second round of Friday's sealed event coming up. Mr. Chase Peterson once again capturing one of his games. And this time he's against Roy Cook, a regular at our Friday events at Fantasy Flight. Have you had any memorable rounds against Roy?
I actually had the fortunate of being able to play with him after his first game and a half he ever played, so it was fairly new. Super nice guy. I like playing with him. He's definitely come a long way since that first game I played with him after he had played 1.5 games. So
Yeah, he's a sharp dude, a very colorful dude, both figuratively and literally.
as I say, as you can tell by the recording, very quickly.
So we'll switch on over to that, and we're ready to go. So, again, this is a sealed event. Neither player knows what's in the other player's deck, and so they're going to roll off to decide who goes first. Roy gets a 5. Chase, a 6. Looks like Chase is going first
Right.
again. Do you have a
And
preference for going first versus going second?
the one thing that's nice about going first is the 7 cards in your hand. I think I like that for the fact that if I need to mulligan, I go down to 6, and then I get to draw one. That's really the only reason I like going first. I think the way we've all kind of decided is that going first is basically going second with a card on the field already.
Opening up with a Dominator.
That's a good opening card to get out there.
Not
That
initially
way you can
threatening, doesn't initially get you mileage, but does protect whatever's coming out next, and it's hard to answer.
exactly it'll protect whatever his next turn's gonna bring. Let's see. So, looks like Roy's got Brobnar Untamed Sanctum deck. All right. I was saying I could see Lomir right there. That's gonna be yep. Shuffle to the back so that make sure you don't play that one out right away. Usually,
But how long can you really hold on to a card? Like in that last round, Chase was holding on to that Martian Hounds for a long time, and I know that he's a kind of player who likes to get through his cards quickly. He wouldn't have liked that.
auto cannon right off the bat. That's a good one to start off with.
Oh, I remember this one now, yes. So that autocannon, as with many persistent effects, gets forgotten like a dozen times. They're constantly reminding each other that there's an autocannon.
Yep. No, that's something I also run into. I'm guilty of it. I think we all are.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially something that's like an artifact like that, where or even a creature. It's difficult to keep some of that stuff straight.
We were mentioning it to each other between the shoutcasting attempts here. That it's there's a lot going through your head when you're in the round. You're thinking about your turns, your previous turns, your future turns, what your opponent's doing. It's easy to overlook that there's an autocannon sitting in the corner, just quietly, just minding some business. So here they've immediately forgotten that it should shoot his Lomir Flamefist because he played autocannon and then Lomir.
Yes.
I think that they catch that pretty shortly here, but that's just going to be the story of this game.
You see, it's kind of interesting that he played out the low mirror, and then what is that? I see that there's a tremor in there, but there's another Brobnar card I can't quite see.
Chase drops a Life Ward, an artifact that you can pop on a later turn using Omni to prevent your opponent from playing creatures. Useful for wiping their board and then making them not have a response for a while.
Oh, there's that control of the weak.
Looks like Chase is just dumping all of his this stuff to get on.
There we go. Now they got that auto cannon.
Succubus safely protected by the Dominator here, making her even more annoying to get rid of.
Yep. Yeah, so Chase did mention there that control of the weak is a difficult one to play early on, and I agree with that because you don't really know what their hand state's going to look like because you can't really see what's on the board versus there's no discards at this point. So what do they got? Do they have a fistful of something that you're just going to call and let them play it out like they normally would have? Very difficult.
Almost purely chance. Here, it might have made sense to choose Brobnar, just because his Lomir can't really do anything about the situation that he's in. Would give Chase some opportunity to use the cards that he drew. Whatever
Oh,
he chose,
and
there was no response.
Chase getting lucky there again.
Mr. Roy Cook, nothing that he can play.
Well, he did have I believe it's a regrowth,
Oh,
but
that's true.
really, the only thing that you can get is the amber off of it since there's nothing in the discard. So
It's not nothing that he could play, nothing that he chose to play.
exactly.
The Dominator is ready.
Yes, and the red planet ray gun, much better choice on the grabber jammer here because the grabber jammer wants the reap. It
Like a
wants the
Mind
reap, it
Warp.
wants the capture, and you can also do damage at the same time.
Now here, the Grabber Jammer actually does come with one armor on it, so it's the one time that an autocannon wouldn't have mattered.
Yes.
Do I even have any creatures? I have no creatures in my deck. Just so you know. I'm gonna play it with
Chase pops his Life Ward, but Roy mentions that he didn't actually have any creatures to be prevented by Life Ward anyway.
Well, he got lucky with the control of the weak, not so lucky with the life ward.
I have a discard pile now. And I will play Mighty Lance, which deals 3 to a creature and 3 to its neighbor, so I will kill the succubus.
The Mighty Lance, a rare card in Sanctum, rare not for its power so much, but rather that it's a thing that Sanctum doesn't usually do. They don't do damage out of hand. They have removal out of hand. Mighty Lance, I believe, does 3 damage to a target and then 2 damage to another target?
It's 3 to a target and 3 to its neighbor.
A neighbor.
One of its neighbors.
As you
Yeah,
joust
so you get
through.
to choose.
The Mighty Lance is like a motorcycle or something with a huge glowing lance.
He came out before the autocannon.
Oh, he came out, right.
Interesting thing about Keyforge, though, that there's no like harsh delineation between what you might call the color pie. Every house can do a lot of stuff, and that's fine because there's no deck building, no need to constrain them.
Definitely. I'll tell you, the Mighty Lance, like you said, it's one of those rare cards you see in Sanctum, but it comes in handy a lot. I wish I would see it more.
So here it was able to snipe the succubus out from under the protection of the Dominator because Taunt does not protect you against direct damage effects. But now the Dominator has a new little friend to protect, a Dust Fairy, a Dew Fairy.
Dew Fairy. And he had to discard that Common Cold because he didn't want to kill his Dew Fairy out right away.
Because of the 1 damage from the autocannon.
Yeah. Now, he could have played the Common Cold first and done the 1 damage. I don't really know if it get
wouldn't
the
have dented
amber
his
off.
side. That makes sense.
No, it wouldn't have.
Because he has armor.
Tonight, I've never seen Angel tonight, yeah. Oh, yeah. Both me and my opponent, I told something about my deck. Last game had mimicry, so.
There we go. Roy's telling him, hey, watch out, there's some mimicry in my deck by mistake.
Copy of an action card in your opponent's deck.
Discard pile.
Discard pile, yeah. So, yeah, you got 2 choices.
Lance.
So, what is he going to mimic?
Well,
Capture 2, you can get
it's a good question.
That's such a powerful card. Just the ability to choose what effect you want, provided that your opponent has played that effect against you.
This is true. I will always love seeing a mimicry when I've been bait and switched. I'll tell you. I see it, and the way Roy explained it there, I probably would have done the same thing. I would have gone for the Terms of Redress, captures 2, and get that extra amber.
So instead he did a Mighty Lance, yes?
Yes, he did the Mighty Lance.
And
it really only did 3 damage to Lomir. That's it, because he had no neighbors.
Yeah, dropped the other effect. In Keyforge, of course, we do as much of the effect as we can, rather than having to do the effect or none of it.
Yeah, which is definitely a mechanic I like. Do as much as you can, and you don't necessarily have to do it all if you can't.
Gets a lot of cards played that wouldn't otherwise have gotten to play.
This is true.
I am going to fight the Dominator with this guy, which will kill him.
Is that War Song?
5 more.
It is a war song, so he gets 1 every time a friendly creature fights.
Regardless of whether or not it survives. And so, Lumir throws itself against the Dominator.
And Chase gets his 2 amber back from the capture.
I'm going to play Valdir. And then I'm going to play Ganger Chieftain, which allows me to ready and fight with a neighboring creature. So I will fight the is that the Ixie Dominator?
Yep.
Yeah, Ixie Dominator with Valdir. So that will kill both of them, I believe.
Valdir coming out, clearing out the Dominator. Of course, she would have been hit by autocannon, but didn't matter because Dominator hits so much harder.
Definitely.
I will play
But there we go. The Ganger Chieftain
Sons of Creature in each of its neighbors.
has missed the auto cannon. Oh, there's a tremor coming out.
That's a better turn than I've been having up until now. So
I'd say.
Tremor stuns a central target and the 2 targets adjacent to that target.
Very handy in this case because you don't want to have that Do Fairy reaping. You don't want to have that Grabber Jammer reaping, and you don't want that Snufflegator attacking. So
All
puts him
3
out
things.
of exactly. It's a very, very good spot for that.
Dominator Bobble.
Chase building up his artifact pile again. His double Dominator bubble. That's pretty harsh, double Dominator bubble. Choose this and then also use everything else you have.
Discarding a card, making you discard a card.
Yeah, double Dominator Bobble is very handy. Unfortunately, I always seem to find myself with Dominator Bobbles and no other creatures out there.
Well, it's a very fighty game, Keyforge.
Oh, here we go. Mine barbed out the burn the stockpile. That's a good pull.
Capture 3.
Burn the stockpile, one of Brobner's many solution cards, but one of the stronger ones, I believe.
Yes, it's if you have 7 or more amber, you lose 4. So it can stop you for a key for several turns.
Provided, of course, that you've gotten greedy enough to go to 7. Always a danger.
This is very true, but it's also hard to just stay at 6
Yeah.
due to just getting a single Bumpsy or an Urchin comes out and now you're off a key again.
Yes, that's a delicious tension that Keyforge gives us. Is do I go for it? Am I wasting time or am I saving myself? You don't really know.
Exactly.
okay, I'm going to play Barabnar. Gauntlet of Command, and
Ooh.
Double
2
Gauntlet
Gauntlet
of
commands.
Yeah, that's almost as good as, or better than double Dominator Ball. No, I wouldn't say better.
It's about the same.
Yeah.
Because you have to fight.
Yeah,
So
useful for sure.
it is definitely useful, especially if you're behind on board and you're trying to. Oh, looks like we got the autocannon. Possibly damage.
Both players pausing for a moment to think.
I'm actually just going to reap for a moment.
Sure.
I wonder what his decision was here. I didn't see his hand. He chose just to reap. I think he was choosing whether or not he wanted to throw his creature away.
I think if he was thinking about going after the charrette there, that's got his 3 on there, 3 amber captured.
Very interesting. It's one of those divergent moments. Like now he has something that he wouldn't otherwise have had in the alternate timeline.
And I'll tell you, that's one thing I really love about this game is there's so many choices to be made, and the smallest decision could change the whole way the game works.
Absolutely. We were talking in the other one about the difference between the deck winning the game or the player, and they're both very much relevant.
Dominator Bobble. Snufflegator into the Chieftain, killing him.
Can you tell me exactly what Dominator Bobble does?
Yeah, it says use a friendly creature.
Oh, okay.
It's a good question. It's a fair question. And I'm going to.
Yeah, that Dominator Bobble, like I said, coming in handy here.
And that will be me passing to you, sir.
Chase, I believe, ahead in amber by what? 3?
Play Sanctum.
Is that a key's
It
worth?
looks like he's got 5 over there.
Hold on, it's still
And has a
Yep.
really nice
This is where
board.
things get nice.
Roy really needs to do
For
something
each
here.
creature your opponent controls in excess of you gain 1.
Hey, there you go. That's a great way. That's a great card to play when you're way behind on board.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't have to.
That's 5 amber.
Did that.
Bam.
I got like 4 or 5.
On the basis of Chase having had 5 creatures versus Roy's none.
I had like 9 here, and you guys bait and switched 4 or 5 on the way. It was pretty ugly. And then I will play Bulwark.
Yeah.
All of his neighbors get +2 armor.
Right. Got a bulwark out there, unfortunately by himself. Lonely
Come at
bulwark.
me.
But it looks like Roy did draw into a couple good cards to have with bulwark. I see a Witch of the Eye in there, and also a Marmook.
Is he still going to have a bulwark though? In this
That is
situation, would you try and keep him down, or would you like try and sprint for the finish line?
I would probably try to take out bulwark here if I was Chase.
Slow and steady wins the race.
I mean, especially with it having that the Snufflegator out there. You know, you're not gonna kill him out, I don't think.
On your next turn.
Chase now has 6 amber on that key. He's played Untamed this turn, so no Dominator baubles. Used Fog Bank
Snufflegator into Bulwark.
to prevent a counterattack.
Snufflegator is.
Yep, there you go. See that kills him outright. And now you got Dew Fairy, and you're gonna
He's fine.
bump up a couple extra more
He's
amber.
just a furry little guy. He's got the way of the bear. I'm gonna reap with the Dew Fairy for 2.
So are you nervous in this situation that you're gonna get another burn the stockpiles? Like, how much can you play around that?
Oh, key charge. I was like,
Oh, there you go.
so there.
Problem solved.
Yeah,
Can't burn this
exactly.
now.
Can't burn it if he's already forged with it. So
And I will pass the turn to you, sir. Go ahead and forge your key at 7.
oh yeah, the Grabber Jammer's still out there.
Do you have something that makes it +1?
Grabber
Of
Jammer.
course you have Grabber Jammer. Kill that too.
He's cool too.
I had 7, right?
You know, we haven't seen much of Chase's Mars come out other than the initial run there.
And yet, not having been solved is made it a problem persistently.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Roy's having issues that we've all had at one point or another, where your opponent's just got a board and keeps every time you try to keep putting something out there, they get rid of it before you can even do anything about it.
At the mercy of waiting for your deck to give you an answer. Here he's regrowthing up a creature from his discard. I wonder... So this is another one of those crucial turn pack decisions. He could pick anything. What's he gonna pick?
Personally, from what I've seen, I'd probably bring the Bulwark back. But I'm one of the Bulwark fans.
He goes with Gengar Chieftain.
Okay, I could see that. That's very valid.
I'm also going to play
Gets out an immediate effect. Maybe
see the actions in your discard pile.
bonk someone before Chase can take them out. Chase here is sorting out all of the actions for his discard pile to help Roy.
I think all the actions are on top.
So we've got another mimicry.
Just say mimicry and mimicry into another mimicry.
Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no,
So in every
exactly.
case, mimicry just chooses the opponent's discard.
Picking a card through a mimicry
So-
that you've mimicked. Yeah, and you're still looking through.
I think they're having the same conversation.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. So, no, never mind. My thought process fixed itself there.
So, of what you've seen, what do you think you would choose?
Once I spotted that one, I was like, oh,
Well, there you go. Common Cold's actually a good one. I probably would have gone with the Control of Weak.
and I may destroy all Mars creatures, and of course I will get rid of
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, so
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Gets rid of that grabber jammer. Gets rid of the dew fairy.
and gives him an amber.
Exactly.
Well, that wasn't very
And
nice.
then I will play Witch of the Eye and Murmook.
Ooh, Witch of the Eye. Don't imagine she's going to stay out there very long.
I don't think that autocannon's actually helping.
I think it's doing you. I think it's doing a lot of good work for you. And by you, I mean.
Now, see, since we've already watched the first game and commented on the first game, Chase does have one of those Martian Hounds. That could get deadly with a autocannon out there.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, Roy would have to actually have a board for once.
I'm gonna go Diz.
Well, I think his Martian Hounds go off of just damaged creatures, so I mean even Chase's damaged creatures would go for it.
Let me bring that up for a moment. I'll find out.
Run Cooler into Murmook.
There we go. We got another succubus out there.
Going to Dominator Bobble, Snufflegator into Witch. Going to
Yeah,
Witch Shred.
both of those were high priority targets. The witch and the Murmook. Was not surprised to see them not last very long. And with the double Dominator Bobble out there, I mean, at this rate, I mean, Chase could just go ahead and call, Dis almost the entire time just to use what he's got out there and use his non-Dis creatures and keep reaping and getting rid of everything.
Such a valuable card. And also, artifacts notoriously difficult to remove once they're out.
We'll see, and he does have a Whispering Reliquary. I can never say that word. Whispering
Reliquary.
Relic. There you go.
Yeah.
And he's putting it back.
Play Staunch Knight.
Does have to go Sanctum to do it.
Yes, this is true.
Staunch Knight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight.
Ooh, a Staunch Knight on the flank, ready to go.
Yeah.
He can have his choice of targets here. He can kill anything.
3 because he gets the damage when I played him, and the other one gets 1.
Those Martian Hounds, by the way, yes. For each damaged creature, including your own, give the chosen creature 2+1 power counters.
Yes, I was actually playing a game prior to this tournament, and I had that in my hand. We both had large boards, and I just played something that did damage to everything, and I got 22+1 counters.
Cleansing Wave, the perfect card to have in a deck with autocannon.
That's another great one, yes.
Heal 1 damage off of everything, get 1 damage, or 1 amber for each damage healed this way.
So, all right. So I think Roy said he was at 8 there. So now Chase is kind of in a sticky situation. They're both sitting at 1 key. Chase only has 2 amber, but now Roy's got 8, sitting on that next one.
Got some catching up to do. I feel like Chase has the stronger board state. In terms of that he's holding Roy down and can still do things of his own. Flexibility using the bobbles.
Here we go.
Well, there go the bobbles. A bobble.
Only one he lost there. So that actually putting that back in his hand helped him.
You are welcome.
And when I saw that in his hand, I said, "Oh, dude, now's the perfect time to the EMP blast." There he goes.
And now there's no autocannon to shoot these.
Yeah, no autocannon, but now he's also now protecting his with his Dominator. 2 high priority targets.
Delicious ones.
It's just hard to remember the cards and read them upside down, you know?
Yep.
You'll be glad that you did what you just did.
Now I don't know if it's just missed or slow, and it's slow. Right when I was going to comment on it, he brings up that stun card.
I figured I was lucky that they hadn't been used yet.
Yeah. So, the remainder of the turn, Warsong, for remainder of the turn, 1 each time a friendly creature fights. Crump. Then I'm going to Ganger Chieftain to ready and
Ooh. So when Crump survives an attempt to... Oh, we're going back a bit.
Oh, we're going.
because I will ready and fight. Oh, no,
Oh.
play. It doesn't matter because that's play, not fight. So yeah, I'll do what I was doing in the first. I was thinking
I was
Looking
saying
for a
that.
better combo there, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the right way to go.
ready and
I say
fight.
because then he would have turned off his Staunch Knight's flank ability.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's even
Wait, no, I
worse.
can't fight such this because you cleverly put your Dominator next to him.
So, Grump, if it survives an attempt to destroy a target, it will reduce the destroyed creature's owner's Amber Pool by 1. Yeah?
Yes. And so out of the targets out here, which would you go for?
Well, with everything underneath that Dominator on the other side, and Snudge not being an issue, and that
Oh, because we have no artifacts now, do we?
that Marauder not being an issue, I guess the Snufflegator does make sense.
That's I think the one I would have gone for as well.
But one argument against that is that he has a better Mars board than he does any other board, so maybe taking out the Marauder reduces his ability to use that Mars board effectively.
I was a little worried
That is true.
It was going slow. This seems to be. I'm still
And with only throwing 2 damage on your Crump, you have a better opportunity to
Crump again.
Crump again.
I'm going to go
Live to Crump another day.
Mars.
okay.
Gonna play Zorg over there.
And indeed, Chase wanted to go Mars again. Of course he would. He wouldn't have gone Untamed just to use one creature. So he's got a Zorg.
And I say, if anything, he would just oh, Bobble's not out there. Let's say you would have Dominator Bobbled, but it's gone.
Mind Warper, warping whatever was Ambers onto Crump.
I'm gonna play Martian Hounds. Choose a creature. For each damaged creature, give the chosen creature 2 +1/+1 power counters.
That's gonna be 4, right?
Somebody's gonna get 6.
Oh,
There's
also Snudge.
the Crump and that's a Schuler.
Oh. Yes, if it was a Snudge, it would have an effect, right?
Yes. Yes, Nudge, I believe, is a fight, reap, return, artifact, or flank creature to your opponent or to their hand.
Quite useful.
Very useful.
I'm gonna reap with the Marauder. And that'll be me passing to you.
That Dominator now at
Tamed.
6
Play full moon, so I
on
get.
top of its 9, with a couple pieces of armor as well.
I'm gonna play Murmur. 2 keys cost +1. And I'm gonna
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to get rid of.
that is my turn.
But maybe he won't need to. Maybe he'll just win the game through pace here with his Amber.
It seems that way with Amber, and now he's also made his keys cost more. Chase has definitely looked like he's in definitely a little bit behind.
Fantastic Mars board, though. You know, he's got
Yes.
that going for him.
Yeah.
It's just not solving any problems.
Unstun Zorg.
Oh no, he's okay.
I know, if only he had the Mars board going before the Marauder came out.
Crump, capture another one.
And that's always the case, though. You always feel so tempted to put the Marauder down alongside all the other guys because you just don't want to do it again. Don't want to go another Mars.
Reap with the Marauder for sure.
See, I find myself holding on to my Marauder every now and then I always regret it.
Right.
It's almost better just get him out there, get a couple reaps in out of him. Because without the Amber captured, he's not really a high priority target.
Yeah. One issue with trying to hang on to him is so often these Mars creatures are high priority targets and fragile, so you might not have a board for him to go out to anyway.
And that's usually what ends up happening to me. So I put out all these other Mars creatures, and then they come through, and then he's just sitting in my hand by himself.
Chase takes out the Murmuk. Getting to be a tight game.
I'm going to choose 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures and shuffle them into their owner's deck. Should Amber for that.
Oh boy.
Lost in the Woods, I believe.
Definitely be in the damn.
Yes. I was going to say, I knew that Succubus was going back in the deck. But it looks like Chase doesn't have much of a deck for it to go back into, so it's going to come back out again.
Yeah,
if it
always
lasts
feels
that
bad.
long.
But who else? Who else, Andy?
I'd put a Mind Warper. Or a Dominator. Dominator would be another good one.
Dominator would lose its mini
Oh yeah.
buffs.
I got return zone, don't I?
Those 6+1 power counters.
Yeah, now see, on a Roy's side, I would either put back... I'd probably put back the Staunch Knight, because I messed up the Staunch Knight's flank ability. But I would have put either the Ganger Chieftain or the Sergeant Ezekiel with it, because those have been using neighboring creep.
True. Now, if you put away your Sanctum card, you're going to have fewer Sanctum ready to use next time you call Sanctum, though.
This is true.
And at this, he only needs a couple Amber to
All
be
4 cards.
in check position. Especially if he can deal with Mind Warpers.
And Sergeant Ezekiel.
But he goes with your beliefs there. Get the creature who has a use effect back in the library.
Yeah, see, I probably would have gone with both my Staunch Knight and the Ezekiel. But
Looks like he's got the Amber situation under control regardless. No, he's only at 6, right? So
he is at 6 exactly.
he can be stopped by Mind Warper at least.
True.
You gotta go Mars.
Yep, he's got to get rid of that. And it's unfortunate to see the Mother Gun come out so late.
Oh, at least I'm up to 6 cards again.
We're gonna use Mind Warper to capture 1 onto Crump.
Crump is getting juicy.
He is.
Plumping right for the plucking.
And here's his opportunity to start. He might be able to bring back the Amber situation very quickly here. Yeah, I was saying then he can reap with his Schuler.
That's 6. Drop that Crump and he's halfway to his last key already.
I will trade you Marauder for a Crump.
Marauder. Tiny, fragile Marauder. Wasn't
that's a
killed
good trade.
like the Snufflegator. Comes in for a clutch murder at the end there in this timeline.
Zorg will fight the Dominator, stunning those 2 dudes. Dealing 7, so he takes 5. I take 6.
So now who takes what?
He takes 7.
7 total.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kills him.
Kills who?
Staunch Knight.
So he would be at 6.
Oh yeah, no, that does go.
Yep. Turns out he's dead.
Man, this game is coming down to it, man.
Yeah, here we are now. We're sitting. Roy's got 5. Chase has got 10.
Has Chase gotten through both his Chota and his key charge?
He has not gone. Let's say he has not played his Chota. He definitely played his key charge. I mean, if he's got some Untamed in there with a little bit of Amber, he could come out and just forge 2 keys in 1 turn.
For the remainder of the turn, each time a friendly creature fights, I capture 1.
Roy has a lot of that effect. It's in Sanctum and Brabra.
Creature, I believe that means I just lose the stun, but I can't fight with him.
Yep, but he's exhausted.
Ready and fight with a neighboring creature.
There you go.
So I will.
Mind Warper has elusive. Zakiel can't take it out alone.
No, but he would still capture 1, even though he didn't kill him.
Right.
I say, and really it's that or Zorg or Dominator. So Dominator will kill him out, Zorg will kill him out.
I'm just going to trade him for the Dominator. So he'll fight the Dominator. That should kill the Dominator, right?
No, that Dominator's super beefy.
Got 3 damage on him, and he's.
Oh, those are power. Those are power. Oh,
Yeah, he's at 15 right now.
yeah, never mind.
15 hit point Dominator. Will it be Roy? The elusive makes the most sense to me.
How does fight Mind Warper?
Yes,
So-
I was gonna say I'd go after the elusive. Like I said, even though it doesn't do any damage, you still get to capture that one.
No, okay.
Nope.
And then
Looks
I
like that was the plan.
But he is
Yep.
exhausted.
Yeah, okay. And then I'll give him. I'll give Big Wig taunt and +1 armor.
Is Big Twig protecting the weak?
Oh, and I got an Amber.
Yes, it is. So now he's got.
That's right.
It's a pretty beefy big twig.
And I'm at 6.
Big Twig's always beefy. Once you get above 5, it starts getting into huge beef territory.
That's true. But I mean, even adding that one shield can really, change the difference between trading Zorg or not.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, absolutely. And the taunt is crucial. No one in their right mind wants to swing at Big Twig. Big Twig will swing right back.
With Mega Mouth.
I usually try to get rid of big twig in other ways.
Yes, and I think that's what you need to do here with the Dominator and the Zorg. This isn't a fight it down situation. This is a wipe it. Wipe the whole board.
Yep. Mega Mouth.
I agree.
Is going, or Mind Warper is going to have Zakiel capture one.
The one that already has one or the other one?
The other one.
Oh no. Roy tried so hard, he got so far, but Chase is really gaining momentum here.
He is that Mars board he's got going is doing some work. Like I said, I think the swing definitely happened because now we're all tied.
Now, what can Roy even do about this? Chase
say
is
now
getting into
he's-
check. If you don't have a solution for it, it's GG.
And I think he was trying to decide if he was going to clear one of those out, those 8 kills, or if he was just going to reap.
We're gonna go.
Either way would have got him into check. See, now that Roy shuffled his discard, I think Chase is a little worried about the that burn the stockpile we saw get discarded so early on.
Hey, I just heard myself in the background of this video. On one of my judge patrols. Really sound like that? God.
Yeah, so now I heard myself earlier talking to somebody as well. So I wonder if Chase is trying to decide if he wants to lose Zorg or just reap, or I'm not quite sure what his debate's going on here.
Zakiel. I'm gonna trade you there, but we're gonna stun him.
Throw Zorg into Ezekiel.
Alright, let's see if you gotta burn the stockpile.
Sadly, I do not.
Now, would he have still been stunned, Zakiel? Is that a fight ability?
On Zorg?
Yes.
Yes.
Continue to draw.
I believe that Zorg does it regardless, because I believe it's before the fight.
It is before the fight. I say that's one of those creatures I don't run into very often.
Well, even when you do, it takes so long to get him up and running.
And they're perfectly.
People seldom get the use out of those orcs.
So, regrowth. So I get an armor out of that. And return a creature. I'll return Ezekiel again. It doesn't matter.
So just for funsies, Roy's seeing what he could have done.
Yeah,
You never know, you might
playing
bump
it
into a
out.
solution.
Return Amber.
Exactly. I'll tell you what, there's been a couple games I've had where I'm like, there's no way I can get you off it. Well, let me just play it out, and then all of a sudden I end up
Nice.
pulling some miraculous trick out of my sleeve. So Chase does take it down after being behind for so long there.
Nothing for like the first fourth of it. Then I just and I thought I had it.
And honestly, I have to say, I think we have to give that victory to the Mars for Chase.
Yes. How dare you all throwing away your Mars decks? I see them in the unwanted deck piles.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
At Gaming Goat, they have a box of just decks that people opened and then didn't want, you know?
Yeah.
So used decks, basically, offered at a discount. Every single one of them was Mars.
Do they give you some sort of store credit for that, or do you know?
I don't know if they were his own collection or if people were like selling them to the store, kind of the way that they used to sell unwanted Magic cards.
Exactly. So
But yeah.
Well,
And that
well,
was round 2.
now chases for the night for the sealed. He is now 2-0.
Do you remember what his score was that night?
I do not actually. I don't remember how well he did.
Me either. So we'll find out. Tune in
Uh,
for round 3 coming up.